Everyone thinks Tanjiro became a demon slayer when he picked up a sword, but that's not the moment his soul actually changed. The real shift happens back in episode 1, on that freezing mountain path, when he finds his family slaughtered inside that silent house. In canon, he cries, he begs, he shakes Nezuko's shoulders like grief itself might wake her back into being. But imagine this as the moment where something darker is born. Not rage yet, just terrifying clarity inside a boy. You remember how he carries Nezuko through the snow? Slipping, bleeding, apologizing to her like it's his fault? What if right there, between each desperate breath, Tanjiro realizes that kindness didn't save anyone, and mercy isn't armor? This isn't him becoming cruel, it's him understanding the rules of this world for the very first time. Because until that night, Tanjiro is still a civilian, still a victim, still hoping the world will bend for him. Then Giyu appears, water-breathing, slicing the forest apart like a god punishing the guilty, and everything fractures. In canon, Tanjiro throws himself in front of Nezuko, shaking, terrified, begging Giyu not to kill his sister. But listen to his voice carefully, because beneath the fear, something harder is already forming, something that refuses to kneel anymore. When Nezuko kicks Giyu away, that's when the story tells us she's special. But Tanjiro becomes special too. Watch his eyes here. Not wide with panic anymore, but calculating, tracking Giyu's ants through the falling snow. Here's where the timeline secretly splits, not in action, but in intention, which is always where true warriors are born. Tanjiro stops asking the world to spare him and starts measuring how to survive inside it. He throws that axe, not to win, but to test the rules of this cruel new reality. And when Giyu traps him and leaves Nezuko alive, Tanjiro doesn't feel relief first. He feels responsibility crushing his chest. Because now it's not about what he lost, it's about what he refuses to lose ever again. That freezing forest becomes his first battlefield, even before final selection ever stains his hands with demon blood. You don't hear him say it, but his silence screams louder than any vow. I will never be powerless again.
From that night onward, every step Tanjiro takes toward Urokolaki's mountain isn't training, it's penance for a weakness he swore to bury. In canon, he almost freezes to death cutting that boulder, lungs burning, hands shaking, body screaming that this path is impossible. But now rewatch it with this lens. He isn't just learning water breathing, he's punishing the boy who once begged a demon slayer. Each swing of the blade isn't practice, it's him erasing the version of himself that couldn't protect anyone. Here's where it gets crazy, because by final selection, Tanjiro isn't scared of dying, he's scared of being useless again. When the hand demon mocks Sabito and Makomo, notice how Tanjiro doesn't flinch like a victim, he hunts like an executioner. That clean strike, water-breathing first form, isn't heroic, it's surgical, like he finally accepts that mercy has a blade. This is the emotional peak nobody talks about because the series frames it as growth, but it's really a funeral for innocence. From here, the ripples spread through every arc, even to Zumi Mansion where he bows politely to monsters before killing them. He's still kind, still gentle, but now kindness is a choice, not a shield he hides behind. Listen to how he speaks to Kyogai, respectful, grieving, but already prepared to end him without hesitation. This is why Rui later terrifies him, not because of power, but because Rui mirrors the boy Tanjiro used to be. In canon, the Hinokami Kagura against Rui feels like desperation. But in this timeline, it's acceptance of his new identity. When he tells Rui that bonds aren't chains, it's him finally forgiving himself for surviving his family. Here's the dark part fans hate. Tanjiro didn't become a demon slayer to save people, he became one to never beg again. By the time he kneels before the master at the core headquarters, he isn't asking permission, he's declaring existence. Compare this to canon where he still feels small, still apologetic, still afraid of breaking rules. In this branch, rules exist to protect the helpless, not to cage the boy who climbed a mountain carrying a demon. And that's why every demon after this feels his resolve like a blade already at their throat.